Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavad-gita, chapter 16, text 22. Etaya vimukta kauntaya tamodvaray stridhya naraha acharathyatmanashrayas tito yati paramagatim. Prabhupada makes an interesting comment here in the purport that if a person is purified, then he can follow the rules and regulations in the Vedic literature. From the rest of the purport, it's clear that he's referring to the Varnashram system. Now, those who study Srila Prabhupada's books, they know that the Varnashram system is meant for purifying us. In modern Hindu society, the caste system is only, nowadays it's just something for making fights and marriages, that's all. Marriage is also for making fights, but independent of marriage, making fights. There's not much idea of what actually the caste system is meant for. In modern India, as the caste system, the way it's going on, is just a cause of bad feeling between people. That was most extreme here in Tamil Nadu, actually, as far as I can understand. That the Brahmins here were very extreme. The Brahmins here were very extreme in their treatment of what they considered lower castes. But now the whole thing has been turned around, and now the lower castes are sitting on the heads of the Brahmins. But still, in many areas of India, you'll find in the village areas that just like the Thakurs in Bihar, they're controlling the lower castes. If they don't do what they want, they just kill them, that's all. So this caste system seems to be a cause of a lot of problems. But actually, the original way it was set up, it was meant for purification. The whole thing is that it was all meant for putting Krishna in the center of life. Varnashamacharavata purushena parakraman Vishnur aradhyate pantha nanyat tatto shakaranam. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that one should worship the Lord by following his different duties in Varnashram. And for the common man, there is no other way to approach Lord Vishnu but through the system. So when Vishnu or Krishna is in the center, then there's nice cooperation. Just like we see here, this little plot of earth in Salem is dedicated to the worship of Vishnu or Krishna. Here there is Lord Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Balaram. So we can see here that there are people from very different backgrounds. In fact, most of the devotees residing here are, by bodily distinction, non-Indians. And usually if non-Indians come to India, they can get people to cooperate with them by giving them some money.
இந்தியர்கள் அல்லாதவர்கள் வெளிநாட்டினவர் இந்தியாவுக்கு வந்தாங்கன்னா,
for instance, you can get a job in a multinational company in Bangalore and you won't see your American boss very much. But anyway, you're getting money.
இப்போ அமெரிக்கன் ஒரு நடத்திட்டு இருக்கிற ஒரு கம்பெனில நமக்கு ஒரு வேலை கிடைச்சதுன்னா, அந்த
Bangalore, not in Salem.
பெங்களூர்ல ஒரு வேலை கிடைக்குதுன்னு சொன்னோம்னா, இப்ப அந்த அமெரிக்கனை நம்ம முதலாளி பார்த்தே இருக்க மாட்டோம். ஆனா நமக்கு காசு என்னமோ கிடைச்சிட்டு இருக்கும்.
Multinational companies don't come to Salem. So that's one way you can get money from foreigners. And another way is to become a Christian and get a chicken every Sunday by the money sent from America. But these foreigners have come here and they're not giving you money. In fact, they're asking you for money. And apart from the foreigners, there are other non-Tamils. And within our community, there are different people from different castes. But they're all cooperating together happily because Krishna is in the center. So if Krishna is in the center, everything works very happily and everyone is very pure. But if we forget Krishna, then everything becomes spoiled. You can see, even if there's a very big and beautiful temple, there are many big and beautiful temples in Tamil Nadu, especially, more than any other state in India. And these are all, of course, built for the glorification of God. And how much devotion has gone into building and designing those temples. But we see in many temples there's also different disputes and not very nice mood, actually, sorry to say. So this shows that even if you have a very nice temple, which is specifically meant for worshipping God, that if we don't have the real mood of bhakti, then everything becomes spoiled. So in the same way, originally the caste system was meant for cooperating in the service of Krishna. So actually the system is not bad. In society, different kinds of people are needed. Someone should be a priest. Someone should be a road sweeper. Someone should be a doctor. So it's not that, it's not that everyone should be a priest. If everyone's a priest, then who's going to sweep the roads? It's not that everyone should be a road sweeper. Then they'll only have 1 meter of road each to sweep. So all different kinds of people are needed in society. So there's nothing wrong with classifying different people as Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. But when we forget that it's all meant for the service of Krishna, then instead of being done with cooperation, it becomes done with envy. So originally this caste system is meant for purification. But as Prabhupada states here, one has to have a certain level of purity before you can even start to follow the Vedic rules. Just like because the Vedic rules, they are to restrict us from sinful life and to introduce us more and more to pure spiritual life. So, just to give one example, meat eating. So we're very sorry to say that most people in India today and in Tamil Nadu also are meat eaters. But within the Vedic system, this meat eating is not allowed except for certain people under very restricted circumstances. Just like we meet some people, they say, oh, we're Kshatriyas by caste, so we can eat meat. So it's true, Kshatriyas by caste can eat meat. But there is a condition. You have to first fight all the tigers and lions in the forest. And after clearing the forest of the excess population of wild animals who are disturbing the rishis, then you can take some animals for sacrifice.
ரிஷிகளுக்கு தொந்தரவு கொடுத்து கொண்டிருக்கும் அந்த காட்டு விலங்குகளான சிங்கம், பூனை என்று அதிகமான ஜனத்தொகை பெருக்கம், இது புலிப்பெருக்கம், எண்ணிக்கை பெருக்கம் அங்கு அதிகப்பட்டு விடும்போது இந்த சத்திரியர்கள் உள்ளே நுழைந்து அவர்களை எல்லாம் வதம் செய்து அந்த எண்ணிக்கையை குறைத்து அதன் பின்னர் அவர்கள் வேண்டுமானால் இந்த சாக்ரிஃபைஸ் வந்து யஜ்யமாக சில மிருகங்களை அவர்கள் உட்கொள்ளலாம்.
But even then, you see, even under that condition, it's still a contaminated propensity. It's not that you just go to the butcher's shop and you take something, you buy something. So actually, this modern life, people are not becoming purified. If we are to speak honestly, then we have to say that people are the average person is living a very sinful life. Maybe you know that our ISKCON devotees, some of them are speaking on TV. Not only in Salem.
Salathil mattum alla.
But on the, what's that called, Star Plus and all this, Atma. So, theoretically that has an audience of millions. It has a potential audience of millions. So when that was just starting, that shooting, then after a few days the directors started complaining. Why are you telling, or why you're Hare Krishna people, they're telling all the time, don't eat meat, don't smoke, don't drink, all these things. So they didn't like this because one thing they'll think that, who's going to watch our TV program? We're not going to get the money from the advertisements. Another thing, the directors themselves, they're all eating meat, smoking, drinking and everything, and they don't like to hear it even personally. It's just like a few years ago, the previous president of America was found out to be having illicit sexual relationship. And he lied about it, and he was found out that actually he was lying. And it was thought that it would be a major scandal. But actually it wasn't, because everyone's doing it. If the president's doing it, what's the difference? He's just a normal person. This is the condition of modern society. What we consider a normal person in the modern age is simply a candidate for going to hell. That's all. And you may laugh, but this is exactly what Krishna is saying here in Bhagavad-gita. So it's not really anything to laugh about. That those of us who are fortunate enough to have come in contact with this Krishna consciousness, we should have given up all these grossly sinful activities. But at the same time, we shouldn't think ourselves very much superior to others, because a short time ago we were probably doing the same thing ourselves. And if we're born in a pure Brahmin family like Madan Gopal Prabhu, well, that's better than being born in a pure Mlecha family like me. Pure means, like no mixture of anything non-Mlecha. Means 100% Mlecha. 100% impure. Thoroughbred. Pedigree. Mongrel. You don't know this, because they don't have such silly things in India as thoroughbred dogs and all that some kind of thing. Anyway, but anyway, even if you're a Pakka, pure Brahmin, and your only vice is drinking coffee, which really is not really anything as bad as the kind of things that most other people do. But still, if you don't have knowledge of Krishna, then your life is useless. As Srila Prabhupada used to point out, that the pigeons are also vegetarian. Of course, the pigeons, they don't chant stotras in the morning. Stutis, stotras, part. But then the Brahmins don't either. Pigeons don't drink coffee. So the point Krishna is making here is that we have to lead a pure life. It is very difficult to lead a pure life in the modern age, because what people consider normal is a very impure way of life. People don't think what they're doing. They go to the bazaar, they buy one chicken, they hang it on the bar of their bicycle upside down. So much suffering already the chicken is having. And they kill it and eat it. They think it's normal. But that chicken is also a living being. So much suffering is undergoing so that we can have some pleasure for the tongue. So that will create a sinful reaction. And all these things we're doing, it's creating sinful reactions. Even smoking, drinking coffee, tea, all these things, they all create addictions. Which they obstruct our remembrance of Krishna. So nowadays, it's not possible to properly follow that Varnashram system in its original pure form.
அது மூலத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த தூய்மை நிலையில் அதை நாம் கடைபிடிப்பது மிகச் சிரமமான வேலையாக இருக்கிறது.
Because society is now broken down, the Varnashram system is no longer properly going on, then sinful life has become normal. Therefore, in the modern age, there is no possibility of becoming purified unless one takes to the Krishna consciousness movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is a fact. Just like we were saying on the TV, they didn't want us to speak the truth. They have whole TV channels devoted to dharma. But no one is, it's supposed to be about dharma, but no one is allowed to speak the truth. All these religious channels, no one speaks the truth. They tell some jokes, they tell some stories, they tell some things good for health, they tell some things about time management and how to control stress and all these kinds of things. But nothing about Krishna. Even if rarely they tell some stories about Krishna, they never teach us to surrender to Krishna. And they never teach us to chant Hare Krishna. So, we should be very careful. And avoid the gates to hell, which Krishna is describing here. But rather take the gate to the Paramgati, the supreme destination mentioned in this verse. It is not difficult to go to Krishna in the spiritual world. We simply have to lead a pure life, and the most important thing for purity, even more important than avoiding meat and all these things, is to chant the all-purifying names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In Kali Yuga, we don't have the advantage of the Varnashram system to help us. Everything is pulling us to hell. The education system, the TV, the newspaper, the social system, even our very families. There are many cases of people who were eating meat and drinking wine. They stopped these things and then the family said, why? Sometimes you see the husband used to be getting drunk and beating the wife. And then he stopped that and chanting Hare Krishna said, why are you not getting drunk anymore? I don't mind you getting drunk and beating me. I mean, that's normal. Everyone does that. But this chanting Hare Krishna, that's just embarrassing. Yeah. So we have to take up that activity. Acharatyaatmanashraya. That activity which is the best for us the soul. We should know very clearly that whatever anyone else may say, that what Krishna speaks in Bhagavad-gita is correct. And that if we follow the path given by Krishna, we will go to Krishna. And there is no higher goal than this. That is the platform of pure life, of eternal happiness in the spiritual world. But life in this material world simply means suffering in ignorance, life after life. Just like I was saying, in human society, different people, they're envious of each other. The whole of material existence is like. Now, the last few days I've been staying up at Airco. So, it's very peaceful there with lots of birds singing in the trees. Sometimes you see the birds, they're sitting on the tree singing very sweetly. And suddenly they'll jump up and catch a fly. So it looks they're so singing so nicely and sweetly, but as soon as there's some other being, they try to immediately catch it and kill it. All the time you'll see, the animals, they have no consciousness of what is cruel. But a human being is supposed to have intelligence to discriminate. Intelligence doesn't just mean going to college and filling your head up with information. There are different aspects of intelligence. Simply to be able to remember many things, that is only one part of intelligence. But having amassed so much information, if you can analyze it, that is another aspect of intelligence. So we find that the people who they get paid more money, like computer engineers or doctors, is because you have to have some analytical ability to be able to do this. It's not just a matter of amassing facts in the mind. You have to also be able to analyze individual situations on the basis of that knowledge. But there is another aspect of intelligence which is wholly neglected in the educational institutions. And that is the platform of discrimination. To discriminate between the soul and the matter, and to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong, Here, Krishna says that one should act for Shreya, for that which is beneficial for us. So we have to discriminate between what is proper and what is improper, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. This is almost totally neglected in modern society. So that we find people even who are highly educated, whose moral character is zero. There is no education in how to discriminate between proper and improper action. This Krishna has described in this chapter of Bhagavad-gita. Pravriting cha, nivriting cha, jana na vidur asuraha. Those who are demoniac do not know what is proper action and what is improper action. They do not discriminate between the two. Therefore, they cannot act in a way which is genuinely beneficial for them. Without this knowledge, people are simply going to hell. So it is the duty of everyone to take up this knowledge given in Bhagavad-gita as it is, and to try to spread it to others. Even though India is in a very fallen condition today, still there is some kind of inclination towards spiritual life. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhorted us, has encouraged us or ordered us or you.
இந்த நிலையில்தான் சைத்தன்ய மகாபிரபு அவர்கள் நமக்கு கட்டளையிட்டிருக்கிறார்கள்.
Exhort. To urge.
Pressure.
Yeah, that's right.
ஒரு அழுத்தத்துல கொடுக்கிறார். சைத்தன்ய மகாபிரபு இதை செஞ்சே ஆகணும் அப்படின்னு.
Jorse.
உந்துதல்.
Bharata bhumite hoilo manusya janma ja janma sarthak kari karo para upakara. Those who are fortunate enough to have taken birth in this land of Bharat, in the human form of life, not as dogs or cats or pigs or goats. Now you have the human form of life. So you should make your life successful by following Bhagavad-gita as it is. And do good for others by spreading this knowledge. So please try to do this. It may not be very easy. It may not be very easy to practice Krishna consciousness. Actually, there's nothing difficult. No one is coming and pulling your mouth open and forcing you to eat meat. And it's very easy to chant Hare Krishna. But it may not be very easy because of social pressure. Actually, the practices of Krishna consciousness are very easy, but it's the other people telling us, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So to follow may not be easy, but we should be very determined that I must follow what Krishna says. And try to spread that to others. Do what you can to try to bring Krishna consciousness to others. All of you who are coming regularly here, you should be trying to bring others to Krishna Bhakti also.
இங்கே தொடர்ந்து வந்து கொண்டிருப்பவர்கள் அனைவருமே மற்றவர்களையும் கிருஷ்ண பக்திக்கு கொண்டுவதற்கு உண்டான நிலையில் உங்களுடைய செயல்பாடுகள் இருக்க வேண்டும்.
Which ones of you are coming here regularly every Sunday? All right. Good. Very good. So, next week you should bring one new person who has never come here before. One or two or more. So then there'll be a bigger crowd. Can you all do that?
Yes, my Lord.
Well, I won't be here to see it because I have my ticket booked to Mangalore. But if you keep on doing this every week coming, I'm supposed to be coming back in June.
Yeah.
So I hope I won't be able to come. I hope I won't be able to come. That you're bringing so many people, the whole road will be blocked. You'll have to drop me in by helicopter. So you're all going to bring more and more people here, is it? Then another thing you can do is every week you should distribute, means sell, at least one of Srila Prabhupada's books. Even, you see, you can take Bhagavad-gita, Unmay Uravil, or you can take a small book also. A small book I think is only 10 rupees, 15 rupees. So every week we must be meeting and talking or seeing so many people. So within this week you have to find at least one person to sell one book to. That is your duty to Krishna. Is it a good idea? You should all become preachers. So you do the same thing. Bring them Krishna's books. You can do that? Alright, so you all please, you can take at least one book from the table, give your name, and then you have to come back next week, give the money and take another book. And this will be very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada wanted his books distributed in every home, because Srila Prabhupada knew that if people get these books, their lives will change. Because these books are non-different from Krishna. They give the truth about Krishna. You won't find any other books like this. Prabhupada is very clearly giving us that power of discrimination, what is right and what is wrong. So you have to go out, take the books, distribute them, and come back with more people. And this way give more and more people knowledge of Krishna. People are suffering. They don't know Krishna. They're going to hell without knowledge of Krishna. So please try to help them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are there any questions about this?
கேள்விகள் ஏதாவது இருந்தால் கேட்கலாம் இது குறித்து.
No questions. Please say. Speak in the mic.
Guru Maharaj, some people are following these rituals very properly in Brahmin families.
Some people.
Yeah, some Brahmin.
Few.
Few, yeah.
In Brahmin families, there are also a much smaller percentage of the population. And even among the Brahmin families, only a small percentage are following. The main ritual they're following is the same ritual as everyone else, turning on the TV and drinking coffee. Now it's all democracy. Everyone does the same thing. Yeah, but some people are trying to follow as best as they can in the modern age. It's not really possible to follow fully, because just like if you're working in a bank or something, then you can't properly do your midday sandhya vandanam, or you can't go down to the river and take a bath and do all these things. But they try to follow. Some people try to follow as best as they can. Granted. Okay. Then?
So, they are...
Midday, that's not sandhya vandanam, that's madhyana. Yeah, then?
They are following as they can. They are following all these rituals.
Yeah.
And then they are doing some homams or some other things. What is prescribed as per this Dharma Shastra or but they are not having the knowledge of Krishna.
Yeah.
But they are worshipping Krishna and the other gods simultaneously.
We believe in all the gods. No. Sarvadhaman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapabhebhyo mokshayashanimashrucha. Yes, then.
Then what will be their position?
What will be their position? What is their position? Well, we find in Shastra, there are many such statements. Dharma swanushtita pumsa vishvaksena katasuyaha notpadi yadiratim shrama evahi kevalam. That one may perform various... Oh, you're supposed to translate the question first. Don't even watch TV. A rare soul, your brother-in-law may be. So, according to that verse which I quoted, that one may perform various religious activities, but if you don't gain a taste for hearing pure devotional topics about Krishna, then it is simply labor performed without any substantial result. So it's certainly nice that people are doing this rather than engaging in grossly sinful activities. But if we don't come to pure Krishna consciousness, then we have to go on rotating in the cycle of birth and death. And the same Dharma Shastras that they're trying to follow, you'll find that so many activities which they're doing totally disqualify them from doing them. Just like, yeah.
பல தர்ம சாஸ்திர நீதிகளை நீங்கள் பார்த்தீர்கள் என்றால்
in the same Dharma Shastras which they're trying to follow, say that because of other things that they're forced to do, they're not actually qualified to do what they're doing. For instance, if you're employed by someone, then you're no longer qualified to act as a brahmana.
Employed.
Yeah, if you're employed, then you're no longer...
Employed,
You're not qualified to act as a brahmana. So ask them to chant Hare Krishna. Give them Prabhupada's books. Okay, I'll finish there because it looks like people are getting a little restless. They're going away. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening so patiently. Remember now you all have to bring people and distribute Prabhupada's books. And I'm going to do the same thing too. Come and get it. As I was saying last week, you need at least 2 copies in your home. Hare Krishna.